What's up everybody, welcome back to another episode of 0 Mile ADV, a true beginner's guide to adventure motorcycling, maybe a true beginner's guide to adventure dirt biking, because I'm totally turning into a moto guy. So this week we're talking about I am trying to ride my dirt bike for 30 days to see how I can improve my skills to make me a better ADV rider, so when I get off-road I can tackle more stuff with more confidence and just be a better rider. This is the 7-day recap, so with that, let's get into today's video. But first, there hasn't been a lot of snarky comments recently, so there's no snarky comment of the week. Maybe it's because I'm calling these guys out and they don't want to be mentioned in the video. Come on, leave some sort of comment. Tell me why I'm balding, or why I got 8 chins, or why these are the worst videos in the world. Leave those comments below. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, but don't tell your friends, because we don't want this thing to get too big. If you look at the big channels, they get a lot of terrible comments, and the internet can be a terrible place. And right now, everybody has been super awesome, and there's really great feedback and just communication and everybody sharing their experience, so keep that up. So let's talk about why I decided to ride a dirt bike for 30 days to see how much I can improve my ADV skills and what have I learned. My 7-day wrap up. First off, let's talk about probably the most important thing. Why am I doing this series? It is because I want to have fun, right? And I think for me, learning new things is always really fun. It's always want to have a lot more fun. So that's the primary reason. If you're not having fun, what's the point? Well, I guess sometimes things are hard and it's not fun, but it's worth it in the end because you build a skill. So maybe that's not entirely right. But second is, as I mentioned earlier, I want to improve my ADV skills, and I want to get better on the big bike. And so I feel that riding the small bike will help me actually get better. Okay, so what were some of my initial struggles? And I think this is the struggle that I feel most on the ADV bike, that I still feel a little bit on this bike, which I didn't expect. But I think there are a couple of pieces to that, and that is just the bike feels huge. Now, I think everything for me, I realize, is in hindsight compared to other things that I've done and other things that I have learned or other experiences. And my experience on single track has all been mountain bikes. And so when you're riding a 20 or 30 pound, 20 pounds would be pretty light, so probably like a 30-pound mountain bike on these trails, and then you put a dirt bike on the trail, the bike feels really big. And that has been my struggle on the adventure bike, getting into some technical sections. It's just the bike feels really big, and I haven't learned how to use the bike's weight to my advantage. So those are kind of some of my first struggles. I think a couple of other struggles that I have also had in this beginning. If you saw my first video, like I whiskey throttled into a boulder like a couple minutes in. I have dropped the bike a few times since then, but I have gotten better at getting over some more obstacles. And in my first day wrap-up video, riding the dirt bike for the first time on some technical single track, I was like, I need to squeeze the bike more. And what I realized is that is not always the case. There are times to squeeze the bike, and then there are times to actually let the bike be loose under you. I also really struggled in first gear because, you know, I'm like in this sweet spot of like really being in the power range and not. And so I was like, oh, I need to ride more in second gear. I have actually still struggle a little bit, but I've gotten better with my throttle control. And so now, you know, that first initial struggle of always just trying to force everything in second gear, I've kind of moved on from. And so I don't really have that problem so much. Now I'm kind of in between this like weird first and second gear struggle where I'm like too fast for first gear and a little bit too slow for second gear on some of the technical sections. Okay, before we get into the things that I have learned so far in this week of riding my off-road bike, if you haven't heard, I'm working on an apparel company, 0 Mile ADV. I'm actually working on a dual sport in dirt bike line currently, but at the time of recording this video, our first production run of ADV apparel, so you can go do a quick lap, stop at your local Starbucks, or actually even better, your local specialty coffee shop, and grab a cup of coffee with your friends on your GS. Those are on our way. If you want to support us, there's still an opportunity to become a first edition member. What is a first edition member? It is the people who buy our first round of clothes, or apparel, I should say, clothes, ropa, la ropa in Espanol. The first ones to buy our first set of ADV apparel, so our flannels and any of our pants. And because you're taking a chance on us and what we are working hard to build, we really want your feedback. So our first edition members, like, We want you to help us drive the products and make them better. So we're going to be sending you a questionnaire, but we've got a bunch of other cool things that we're going to include in there to help you just get excited about the brand. Some lifetime discounts. You know, I want to do some events. I want to show up and like go to some cool rides and get a bunch of 0 mile people together and have some cool events, all on the 0 mile dime. And in order to do that, we got to have people to help us and support us. So if you want to become a first edition member, all you have to do is be one of the first people to buy our first edition set of apparel. How do you do that? Your best chance is to get on our email list, so you'll be the first ones to be notified that the site is live, because that's who's going to be notified first. And so you'll have about 72 hours from then until we go live with the public. But to get on that email list, go to 0mileadv.com, download our free BDR packing checklist. I've used that checklist twice to pack for the New Mexico and Colorado BDR, and I include 4 things on it that I think are really important, that really saved my bacon. So to go download that and use that. So we don't want to just get your info. We also want to provide you with something, provide you some value, and then you'll get a chance to be a first edition member. So with that, let's get on with the video. Okay, top 3 things that I've learned this week is that, again, speed is my friend. Like this morning, I went and rode a new trail that I haven't ridden before, which is called Quad Rocker. And I'm always a little bit nervous on new trails because I don't know what's coming up, right? And so I use Onyx off-road maps because it kind of gives you a difficulty rating. And so I'm kind of in between this like 4 and 7 rating is kind of where I'm like comfortable, but still kind of pushing my limits on some of the more technical stuff. And so I'm a little bit slow, and I've learned that speed is definitely my friend, just like on the mountain bike. So I shouldn't have had to relearn that, but I did. And I'm getting better at actually like attacking the trail more instead of just trying to ride through the trail. And so actually like giving it a little bit more bacon, or just kind of getting on the juice a little bit more, is actually helping me get through some of this stuff, rather than just like kind of going slow. And then you're dealing with the weight of the bike, trying to keep it upright. And that's when I have dropped the bike, is that when I go slow, I get in the technical stuff, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to struggle through it and go slow, and then the bike drops. Where if I actually carry some momentum, things are a bit better. As I touched in earlier, squeezing the bike is important to some degree, but I also feel that like I found, and I actually watched this from a lot of the hard enduro guys, is they're kind of doing this like when they're going up steep technical climbs, they're kind of like their weight's over the front of their bike and they're kind of squatted. They're not actually seated on the bike, and their legs are kind of wide, and it helps them get up. That has really helped me get over some of like the steeper up technical stuff. That has been really helpful. And then the third thing is even though if you're nervous, just do it, right? There's a saying that's like, try to get outside your comfort zone every day if you want to grow. And that has definitely helped. I've definitely pushed a little bit more this week. And now on this trail, it's called Second Thoughts, that I've been riding most, that I've been practicing most on. I can get through most sections. Actually today, I think the last 3 times I've ridden this trail, I've gotten through all the technical sections without dropping the bike, which is a big plus and a bonus for me. Okay, and let's talk about the last thing that I think is probably the most important thing that I've learned, is just the confidence builder. You know, I've only ridden 7 days. So 7 times I've been on the dirt bike. Most of the time it has been out here at this technical single track loop. I have gone out to, we have like 1 million acres of just like open desert. And I did a day out there, and I actually found myself wanting to get more uncomfortable on the single track out here. And so I had enough confidence to actually go out to an area just on the other side of the Utah border and ride the Western Rim Trail. It was in that same skill level, right? It was in, I think it's like that 4 to 5 range on Onyx off-road map. So I felt like there wouldn't be anything too hard to get me out there, but I had enough confidence to actually go tackle that big loop by myself. I tried to do it on a weekend, but so that there'd be other people there, but actually there was nobody there. So I was like pretty much by myself the whole time, didn't see a soul. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful morning, and it was a great ride. And had I not been out here practicing for 3 or 4 days leading up to that, I definitely wouldn't have had the confidence to go out there and ride that by myself, let alone to go even ride it with somebody else. So just getting out and being more consistent on my riding has just built a lot of confidence. And there are days, because I get up early in the morning to ride because I'm in the desert, and it's like 65, 70 degrees, which is perfect. And by noon, it'll be 100. And so that will be hard, not only on myself, but on the bike to ride in that heat. And there have been mornings where I just don't want to get up, right? That alarm goes off at 5:30 and I don't want to get up, but I force myself to get up. I struggle through all of the mental thoughts like, oh, I'm no good, I'm terrible, why am I even trying to do this? And then I get out here on mornings like today, and I ride a new trail, and I actually start feeling more confident and just giving it, you know, attacking the trail a little bit harder, and it all becomes worth it. And so all of that naysaying is kind of going away, and I'm starting to build more confidence in the off-road skills. So that is my 7-day wrap up so far. Be sure to check out zeromileadv.com, support us, go buy some apparel. It'd be really cool. Let's make a cool community. Leave your comments below. Leave some snarky comments. I need some snarky comments for next week's video. So leave those terrible comments below. Again, tell me why my receding hairline is awful, why I should go back to wearing glasses because it helps hide my ugly face, whatever stories you want to leave. Because hey, if you can make fun of me and it makes you feel better, then by all means, man, I'm here to help you. So with that, until next time, stay safe out there.